Welcome, welcome, and thank you for joining the professor. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the different corporation, the different organization, the different companies that Sophia Pétion, her husband, Eddie Pétion, and Ricardo Roy, and also Deborah Brazil. Those are four people that are very key to the Novatech scheme, Novatech Ponzi scheme. So I have gone and researched all these different companies because the companies, they tell you story. And I'm going to tell you today where I think your money is, where I think the $1 billion that Cynthia collected, where that money is. But first, let me go over how this, the companies. We're going to talk about the companies. Now, Novatech FX and NovatechFX.com is really the engine for the crime. This is kind of the enterprise that Cynthia Pétion used to take your money. Now, Novatech FX is a foreign corporation. It's not registered in the United States. It's registered in the Grenadines, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which I've told you before. That company was registered in 2019, but from 2017 on to 2020, Cynthia Pétion have registered a whole bunch of companies. For example, there was a company, and I said was because that company is still, you could still see the document, but the company is not in good standing with the state of Florida. Cynthia Pétion, Ricardo Roy, Eddie Pétion, and Deborah Brazil registered Novatech Advisors. So Novatech Advisors is sort of kind of like a consulting company made of these four people that I just told you. And you can see their picture on the screen. Now, Novatech Advisors basically was getting paid from Novatech FX as a consulting company. That's how they shift on the money. But last year, this company, Novatech Advisors, LLC, which basically registered in Florida, was administratively dissolved by the state of Florida. And of course, the reason why the state says was that they did not file their annual report. Every time you have a company, you're supposed to file an annual report. But for Novatech Advisors, they didn't file a final report. And I can understand why. Obviously, they don't care. Now, in 2017, this is way back, Cynthia and Eddie started a company called NovaPay LLC. It was a limited liability company, a Florida corporation. And NovaPay supposedly was the company that was supposed to administer the payment system. They were never intended to pay you back, but they started the company to do that. That company itself also is administratively dissolved from the state of Florida. So there are two companies that they had registered, and both of them so far had been administratively dissolved. And the name of the people that are on those companies are the four people that I just told you: Cynthia, Eddie Pétion, Deborah Brazil, and Ricardo Roy. Now, SmartBeat, again, it's another corporation. SmartBeat Inc., it wasn't the LLC, it was a corporation that in 2018 that Cynthia Pétion and Eddie Pétion started. And over time, they keep amending the paperwork to add Ricardo Roy Sr., and also Deborah Brazil, who at one point was president of Novatech FX. So technically, why this information it's important for you to know. This information is important for you to know because every time you see someone doing that type of activities, they are trying to cover fraudulent action. And I'm not saying it's bad to have different companies doing different things, but if Novatech was a real company, there will be no need to do all of this different corporation. And if you look at it, it's always the same people. It's always the same address. okay, in Boca Raton. And the registered agent that was basically there's a company called Company Corporation. And when you register a company, you have a registered agent in the state in case you get sued, something happened, they could serve the complaint on that registered agent. That registered agent for all these companies actually resigned in 2000, I think it was 2023, they resigned, citing fraudulent action by Eddie Pétion and Cynthia Pétion. But this is where I think your money is, guy. Those of you who've been following the professor, you know the professor is always working, always looking for things. There is a company called Nova Trading. Nova Trading. You can see the name on the screen, Nova Trading, OU. That company is registered in the country of Estonia in Eastern Europe. This is not in the United States. This is not in the Caribbean. This is in Estonia. Now, that company, I bet you, is the company that is the owners of all the Bitcoin, of all the cryptocurrency, because I know that a lot of you were buying cryptos. You would send also money to EminiFX. And what EminiFX would do, I mean, I'm sorry, not EminiFX. I apologize. Novatech. You were sending money and crypto to Novatech. And what Novatech will do when you send the money is the cash money you send, obviously they try to keep it. But for them to make sure that they have control of it is to turn that cash money into Bitcoin. So if Eddie Pétion and Cynthia Pétion bought all this Bitcoin, the best place in the world to hide that is Estonia. Now, you remember that the EminiFX was the exact same thing. Eddie Alexson had over $200 million of Bitcoin sitting in an account in Estonia. And when Eddie Alexson got arrested, he made a deal with the government. He gave the key to that Bitcoin account to the government. And I can almost guarantee you that Cynthia Pétion and Eddie Pétion opened a company in Estonia called Nova Trading, and that company is the front company for all the money that they took from you. That money is sitting somewhere in Estonia, probably in a Bitcoin account. Now, how do you get that money back? Here's the thing. And people, you know, send me texts and ask me questions. Professor, how are we going to get the money back? Okay, let me tell you something. Cynthia Pétion, Eddie Pétion, and all the other co-conspirators who contributed to that fraud, they're not going to give you any money back. You're not going to get any money back. No, sir. No, ma'am. That's not going to happen. The only way you're going to get money are two ways. One, if Cynthia Pétion and Eddie Pétion and Ricardo Sr. and Deborah Brazil, if they got arrested, and they're facing decades and decades in prison, they may lessen their prison time by making a deal with the federal government, just like Eddie Alexson did. Eddie Alexson was facing 30 years, but what did he do? He turned around and he said, hey, guys, I'll tell you what, I'll give you some of the money. I'll tell you where I'll give you the key to the crypto so you can access that and get the money. So he did that, but in exchange for giving the money back to the government, the Eddie Alexson got 9 years. So the exact same thing would happen when Cynthia Pétion got arrested. They would negotiate with the government and give some of that money back. Now, so far, I have done calculations, right? And given the fact that Novatech was all over the world, the assessment is that Cynthia and her husband, you know, have collected close to 2.3, 2.4 billion, not million, billion, okay? This is 5 times, okay, larger than EminiFX. EminiFX was just the baby Ponzi scheme. Novatech was humongous. This is the mother of all Ponzi scheme ever because there's so much money, there's so many people all over the world. For example, the state of Wisconsin filed a complaint against Cynthia, and they've said that there are over 1,000 people in the state of Wisconsin that have actually went into Novatech website and bought a package. And of course, that happens in California. It happens in all the different states in the United States. So there are approximately at least between 1 and 2 million people that have put money into a mini FX. Now, I don't think Cynthia Petio have spent all that money. No, I think that money is sitting on Nova Trading OU, a company in Estonia. And of course, Cynthia Petio and her husband, they have the key to that Bitcoin account, just like Eddie Alexson did. And they're not going to open that Bitcoin account or sell the Bitcoin, liquidate the Bitcoin to be able to pay you. So if you think you're going to get money, you're not. Not now, until they are put in a situations where their freedom is really at stake, and then you may get some money. The other thing also is it's always good to file a lawsuit against all these different companies, including Cynthia, Deborah, and all of these people who actually participated, especially those who were promoting the Ponzi scheme, because they knew that it was a Ponzi scheme. They had to know. Because here's the question that I asked. If someone comes to you and said, give me your money, I'm going to invest it for you. You don't have to do anything. You just have to sit there, look pretty, and I'm going to make you money, and I'll give you 3% for each $100 you invest. Well, the first thing you have to ask is, do you have any license to do this? Where are you licensed? Are you licensed in New York? Are you licensed in Florida? What state were you licensed? No one asked that question. Second question, how are you going to invest that money? Have you ever done any investment before? Do you have any experience of doing any investment? And if you look, and I've done another video before talking about who Cynthia Petio and Eddie Petio are, what kind of people that they are. Nothing in their background, nothing shows any type of investment, any type of experience dealing with financial matters, nothing, absolutely nothing. So to me, it would be funny for any person in their right mind to think that, oh yeah, I'm going to give my money to this company because the CEO is somebody who, well, we don't know who she is, but she said she could do it. That's crazy. But I can understand why so many of you actually fall for this, because Cynthia Petio present herself as a woman of God. She called herself Reverend CEO. And I got to tell you, a lot of people believe in that. And I think most of you actually, and then this is all across the board. This is not just Haitians or African-American, you know, there's white people, a lot of different people who thought that Novatech was something that they thought they were going to make money of. And it's not that easy to make money in investment, okay? And if you don't know what you're doing, most likely you're going to lose all your money. So first of all, there was never a plan from Novatech to invest your money and give it to you. I know some people said, well, they were giving me return, but the people that I've spoken with, they said that once they give the money and then now they're trying to withdraw it, the account is blocked. They can't access the account, and there is no one who can help them. So in other words, there's this big hole, big black hole. You put your money in, and it is to be never seen again. And I believe that this is a Ponzi scheme. If any of you were able to get any money at all, any money back after you put your initial investment, that money was money from somebody else. It wasn't money that was invested, because there was absolutely no investment. I believe Novatech was a Ponzi scheme. And I have said this before. I mean, even before I started investigating Novatech, and this was 2 years ago, when I look at their website and I see that the incentive they're giving to people, they say, hey, you don't have to do anything. You could buy a package for as little as $99. And then you sit tight, and then our traders are going to trade for you. But who the hell are those traders? Did anybody ever seen those traders? Did anybody ever ask, well, show me who the traders are? Give me a list of the traders. No, because there were no traders. So in other words, there was never any trading done. And I'm sure the FBI, when they finally arrest Cynthia, everything that I've told you, just remember, guys, I've done this for a very long time, and everything that I've told you about mini FX became true. And I'm telling you exactly the same thing for Novatech. it all's going to unfold just the way that I'm telling you it's going to unfold. So you better listen to me. Novatech never had any intention to invest anything in anywhere. Okay. No, they took your money. Okay. Then what they do is they distribute the fund among themselves. Eddie Petion, Cynthia, Deborah, Ricardo, Roy Sr. Those are the four people. I mean, there may be other people. But if you look at the type of multi-level marketing, and anytime you see a company, okay, anytime you see a company telling people, well, guess what? You can give me your money, I'm going to invest it, but guess what? You also can make money by recruiting other people. That is a sign that company is up to no good. You know why? Because what company would ask you to go out and get your friends and family to invest? What? Most real investment companies, I'm talking about serious broker, hedge fund manager, they're not doing that. You come, you invest, they'll give you a prospectus, they give you a contract, you know exactly where your money is going, they license, and if you ever want your money, they'll give you your money. Within 24 hours, you should be able to get your money. Now, Novatech was nothing like this. In fact, if you look at the website of Novatech, the website was probably the worst website that I've ever seen in terms of information. In fact, EminiFX had a better website when it comes to fraud than Novatech. Novatech website, they showed you some graph, okay? And you could see it on the screen here. They send you some graph, okay, up and down. And then those graphs shows you that Novatech earns 3% for you, which is bullshit, every week. And they've never lost anything at all. In fact, Novatech were saying that even when the price of crypto goes down, they're still making money. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you serious? Investment, guys, is a risk, okay? When you invest on something, you can lose and you can win. Some investment over time, because they have been performing so well over time, you can predict that because this investment for the last 30 years, they've been performing so well. If I invest in that particular stock, most likely I will do well. But anything can happen. Anything can happen that can affect the market, that would affect the price of everything. Even for example, housing, real estate. Remember what happened in 2008. Okay, a lot of people were losing their house. The bank lost a lot of money. But real estate, come to think of it, if you look at the past 50 years, you will say if you buy a house 20 years ago and you pay your mortgage on time, that the house will double every 7 years. And that's what people used to think. But anything can happen in the market that would cause that well-performing asset to be somewhat non-performing. So when you think about crypto, this is something that the government is trying to get their hands around it, trying to figure out how to regulate it. So there are a lot of people who's going to commit fraud because you know why? They are begging on your lack of knowledge. They are betting on the fact that you don't know. And if you don't know and they tell you anything, especially if they put God in it, especially if somebody come and say, well, I'm a pastor, I'm a reverend, I'm a man of God, or I'm a woman of God, what I'm telling you is gospel, some of you are going to believe it. And I don't blame you for believing it. I'm not saying you're stupid for doing it. I'm saying that you have a lot of trust in people. But you know what? There is a President Ronald Reagan, and some of you who might be too young may not remember Reagan, but Reagan was president of the United States. I think it was 1982 to 1988, somewhere around there, or 1990. Now, Reagan said, trust but verify. And the professor is telling you, when somebody tells you something, especially if you have to put your money in what they're offering you, you can trust, but always verify. Because when you verify, you will know that you've done your due diligence. So, I promised I wasn't going to make this video long. I wanted to talk about the different companies that Cynthia and her husband registered, and this was all a framework to steal your money. But Nova Trading is a company in Estonia, and I am doing some research on Nova Trading and figured out where they are in Estonia. Probably try to get a lawyer there to look into it because I want to find out. And I think that money is in a Bitcoin account in Estonia. And let me talk to you about Estonia, for example. Estonia is a very small country in Eastern Europe. And they have done very well when it comes to technology. I mean, if you go to Estonia, you can be able to get online. The government spend a lot of resources in making sure that everything there is based on technology. So, but they also, once you have opportunity to do well, there's also a lot of opportunity for criminality. So there are a lot of crimes, and when I'm talking about technology crime, I'm talking about, you know, internet crime. There are a lot of crimes in Estonia, and Estonia allow certainly people like Cynthia to steal all of this money and put it in crypto form, in Bitcoin form, and in account in Estonia, because quite frankly, you know, they don't care. So that's where your money is. So if you've been asking for where your money is located, I'm telling you where it is. It's a Nova Trading, a company in Estonia. So I am continuing to do some research in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and of course, in Estonia, I will bring more information for you as they become available. Keep watching the professor. This is my Novatech report. I am not going to stop talking about Novatech until Cynthia and Eddie and Ricardo Jr., Ricardo Sr., Roy, Deborah, Brazil, until all these people are arrested and are in prison. Again, thank you for watching the professor. If you haven't subscribed, you better subscribe and tell all your friends, especially people like you who invested in Novatech. Tell them to subscribe to the professor. Peace.